Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to the Directions Live online webinar series by Esri Malaysia. My name is Ami Faisal, and I am your host for today's session. So before we get started with our main topic of the webinar today, I would like to pass this to my colleague Asma Nazwin, who is in charge of the maintenance program. So she'll be taking you and giving you insights on the Esri maintenance program and the benefit that follows. So without any further ado, I shall pass the presentation to Nazwin. Over to you, Awit.
Thank you, Ami. Hi, everyone. Okay, some might ask, why should I pay for maintenance? So to most of our successful users, leveraging into maintenance will help them to solve complex problems, improve their processes, and create business that drive changes. Most likely, they rely on Esri technology to analyze data and gain insights for critical decision making, for example. So that is why Esri maintenance program makes it easy for our user to stay current on the latest geospatial innovations and enjoy the following benefits. Constant access to our ArcGIS platform. Okay, this platform have varieties of apps that actually suits your focus, geographic awareness, readiness to work, and wherever you do. And you can also build your own apps using our tools with your specific needs, like to improve coordination or achieve operational efficiencies. Example, your teams working in the field or office, they can use the same data to reduce errors and boost your productivity. And of course, you can save money from there. And ArcGIS Online is a location intelligence for everyone where enables you to connect people, locations, and data using interactive maps anytime and anywhere with the cloud base. It meets your IT requirements, including security, authentication, and privacy. Next is software updates and patches. Every year, the new version on ArcGIS software will add new functionality to your GIS solutions and systems that help to boost your ROI. Just like our business that constantly changing with the technology. We will always organize tech updates or workshop whenever there is a new content updates. Like today, we will share with you later what are the new technology in ArcGIS Desktop. If you did not continue your maintenance, it is the same as you abandon your software support that may result in new applications were not working to their full potential. Thereby, this will decrease the value of the applications. Patches actually it addresses multiple security vulnerabilities that found in ArcGIS server. Esri recommends our users to always do the patching to avoid conflict. So on average, there are 3 to 4 patches that we release per year, and you can contact our tech support whenever you need it. In other words, what Esri do to our active maintenance user from here is we take care of the software updates and maintenance so you are free to focus on your work, enjoy the enhancement, improve performance, as well as enjoy the new functionality and technology. Other than that, our active maintenance user will also get a complimentary access to the annual Esri User Conference, the biggest GIS event in the world, we usually held in San Diego. But this year, due to the pandemic, Esri has come up with the first ever virtual UC where they do it in live stream, where you can learn about the latest techniques and tools. And other than that, users also get invited to Esri Malaysia events, hands-on workshops, and tech update webinar and events. Next is access to ArcGIS beta program. Okay, beta is a new created software that haven't launched in the market. So what our active maintenance user benefit from here is they can enjoy the first-hand trial. Whether you are new to GIS or an experienced pro, beta can help you experiment the newest technology. For example, early this month, Esri has the latest updates on the Map Viewer beta, where you can add feature services and tara map services from URL, thumbnails, and rotation to your bookmarks and more. You are able to choose your experience whether you are a GIS professional, data scientist, or even professor, and you can choose what are you capable in, and you can experiment everything. You can find more experience on beta from our Esri website. Okay, I'm sure many of you know about this e-learning, but some might not experience it before. Let me tell you that this is one of the advantage for the users where they can get the unlimited access to our e-learning content. You can actually enjoy the unlimited access to a large collection of self-paced e-learning resources to jumpstart productivity, grow your RG skills, and get the results you need. All Esri qualifying products with a current maintenance subscription are included to this unlimited access to the entire e-learning collection. It is a great way to generate excitement about the technology and expand awareness and appreciation of what can be done with GIS. Everyone in your um, organization is eligible for e-learning because the access can be managed through online or through MyEsri, depends on the nature and number of your learners. So you can get the most value from your organization's ArcGIS investment by ensuring your workforce has easy access to resources that will help them to be productive quickly and continually grow their skills. Other than that, for Esri Malaysia, if you need more learning resources, we will also provide training, which conducted by our Esri certified training. There is a cost for that training, and we provide a complete and comfortable training room for our users as well. So you can browse the Esri training catalog to find the right training for you. Lastly, but most important part in Esri technical support. Currently, we have 4 international call centers, where Malaysia is one of it, and we are here to help you. When you are a part of Esri maintenance program, you can contact Esri technical support anytime you need us by telephone, email, or chat. And on top of that, the team will also do an outreach program to our active maintenance user, where they will pay a visit to the user's office to do a health check annually. I'm sure some of you might receive our visit, our technical support visit, to do a health check for you. So for customer with no active maintenance, we keep a record for every support request. So for those that expired customer, they can only request 3 times until they renew their software. So if you have any feedback or question, you can leave feedback at the end of the session to get more information. I will pass it back to Amina.
All right, thank you, Arwin. So as you can see, there's a lot of benefits that can be reaped from the Esri maintenance program. So be sure to be on board on that. So let's get to our main topic of the webinar today. And before that, I would like to introduce today's webinar instructor or our speaker today, which is Loh Kit Yang, our technology consultant with the enterprise consulting team of Esri Malaysia. And without any further ado, I shall pass the presentation to Kit. Over to you, Kit Yang.
Hey, thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Today, my topic is talk about what's new in ArcGIS Desktop. Before I start, please allow me to do some introduction about ArcGIS Desktop. ArcGIS Desktop is a collection of desktop applications for the GIS professional. Traditionally, these include ArcMap, ArcCatalog, and 2 optional 3D viewer, ArcScene and ArcGroup. Since ArcGIS Desktop 10.3, this has included ArcGIS Pro. ArcGIS Pro was designed from the group up to be a portal-centric desktop application. It provides seamless connectivity to WebGIS functionality through both ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise Portal. In addition to portal content, data might come from file-based formats such as shapefile, geodatabase, and tabular data. Part of the Esri Geospatial Cloud, ArcGIS Pro is a Esri powerful single desktop GIS application. ArcGIS Pro support data visualization, advanced analysis, and authoritative data maintenance in both 2D and 3D. ArcGIS Pro is a 64-bit multi-threaded application that leverages more than 3 GB of RAM to application process for responsive user interaction with map and analysis. ArcGIS Pro is integrated seamlessly with the Esri platform, and from the start of the application is connected to ArcGIS Online or your ArcGIS Enterprise portal. Historically, if you want to view your vector and raster data in 3D, you have to use optional 3D viewer such as ArcScene and ArcGlobe. This requires a 3D Analyst extension license, whereas in ArcGIS Pro, you do not need a 3D Analyst extension license to view or edit your 3D data. Once one application to view, create, edit, and share your 2D and 3D data. Analysis tool used to conduct analysis has been ported over from the ArcMap application to the ArcGIS Pro application, so you can start your analysis immediately. ArcGIS Pro is a ribbon-based contextual interface. Tabs and commands react directly to the active map view and item in the content page. And it's intuitive and familiar. The content pane, among other parts of the interface, will remind you interacting with ArcMap. The content pane is analogous to the table of content window in ArcMap, but it focuses on the selected map view. Coupled with context tools, this familiarity makes traditional workflow even easier to implement. ArcGIS Pro uses a project-based folder structure designed to contain map, layout, toolbox, database connection, style, and folder connection in one project. The ArcGIS Pro interface was built to keep your map the main focus of your work. Contextual tools and pane keep your map in view. Modal dialog are filled. Lastly, ArcGIS Pro integrates 2D and 3D functionality in one application and provides an online integrated interface. If you miss it, we are taking the best of ArcMap, ArcCatalog, ArcScene, and ArcGlobe and fusing them in one application, which is ArcGIS Pro. In addition, ArcGIS Pro contains the City Engine runtime to fully leverage photorealistic procedural rules that can be created to stimulate 3D features. You'll expect a professional GIS work environment not to be using the traditional setup of single monitor along with singular application. Rather, today modern workspace have multiple monitor or potentially a video wall configuration that display the application and accompanying 2D and 3D map view on multiple displays. The map view may be touch-enabled, allowing user to create or edit data using a tablet pen or simply using your finger. One application, ArcGIS Pro, to do all your 2D and 3D viewing, mapping analysis, and sharing within one organization. So some of you might ask, is ArcGIS Pro a replacement for ArcMap? The answer is yes. Esri is planning to release ArcMap 10.8.1 tentatively scheduled for Q3 2020. Beyond the ArcGIS 10.8.x release, ArcMap will be supported well into the mid-2020, but any new functionality will be limited. Esri encourage users to migrate to ArcGIS Pro as soon as they are able to. Next, I think some of you might ask, how do I get started with ArcGIS Pro? Perhaps the easier way is to import your existing ArcMap or ArcScene document and 3D group into ArcGIS Pro. When you import document and group from ArcMap, ArcScene, and ArcGlobe, your maps, layout, symbology, scene, and model are all imported into an ArcGIS Pro project file as well. Imported result will look the same as you can see in this screen wrap lower right. Now, I want to talk about how is ArcGIS Pro licensed. ArcGIS Pro support 3 type licensing options, which is single use, concurrent use, and named user account. By default, the named user licensing model is the default licensing model for ArcGIS Pro. With a named user license, you sign in to ArcGIS Pro with credential. This credential is a username and password, which are provided through your membership in an ArcGIS online organization and your ArcGIS enterprise portal. Concurrent use licensing enables multiple users to share ArcGIS desktop application from any computer on a network or from a virtual machine. If you are currently using concurrent use licensing within your organization, you must install the ArcGIS License Manager 2020.0 or higher and update your license file download, which is downloadable from My Esri. Single-use licensing means only one person can use ArcGIS Pro on one machine. These two licensing options are the same as it was for the older ArcWeb application. So next, can ArcGIS Pro be virtualized? The answer is yes. For on-premise virtualization, ArcGIS Pro can be virtualized on Citrix, Microsoft, and VMware. You might get the specific help from the help documentation. For cloud or off-premise virtualization, ArcGIS Pro support AWS, which is Amazon Web Service, the Microsoft Azure MV Service Series, and Frame INC. Again, they see the help documentation for the specific. So after I talk about the introduction about ArcGIS Pro, so next we will talk about what's new in ArcGIS Pro. The highlight section include feature functionality update at this release. First, I will talk about the water layer. In ArcGIS Pro 2.6, now you can view ISO surface, section, and volume in voxel layer. To understand spatial relationship or explore data across 3D, and time to uncover hidden patterns that provide additional insight and impact to your analysis. Besides that, you can also use them to understand complex multi-dimensional data such as atmospheric data, oceanic data, and underground geology model. Junction and edge object tables are non-spatial network objects that are used to model and work with a large number of real-world features that share a common geographical space. For example, the strand inside a fiber cable or conductor in an underground duct. These non-spatial objects are related to other network features via association and participate in the network for use with tracing and network diagram. The revamped modified association pan is used to establish association as well as inspect any association that may be in error. Next, this dynamic exploratory environment of interactive pan, plot, and maps allow you to create refined suitability model. Suitability model can determine the best location to build a shopping center, housing development, or ski resort. They can also find the best area to set aside for park, endangered wildlife habitat, or flood control. In this demo, I would like to show you an exciting new tool that will change the way we do modeling. It is a new capability in ArcGIS Pro called the suitability model. So let's go ahead and create a suitability model. Coffee is the second most harvested crop in Hawaii and is expected to continuously grow during the next decade to meet the growing demand. Finding additional land needed for coffee production is challenged. Using the suitability model, we can start our analysis. By adding a number of data layers, we can overlay and find the base area for coffee production. These layers include land cover, aspect, and other. Once the data is loaded, we can select the layer to start building our model. Let's begin with land cover. Okay. Let's adjust the window a bit before we continue. The map shows the most suitable area in dark green and in the least suitable area in red on the lower left. The transformation pane shows us a histogram of the overall suitability model. In the center is the transmission window where we take the input layer and change its land cover type to a numeric score. And on the right, this resulting histogram of this layer, the tools automatically recognize the land cover category data. Let's switch the field to class name to see the different type of land cover and adjust its score. Look at the map. Most developed areas are already assigned a low suitability score and show in red, but we want to lower this score a bit and increase the score of cultivar group to better fit our need. Looking at the original land cover layer, this gray area is barren land located on top of volcano and is incorrectly assigned a high suitability score. Let's correct this as well. Moving on, let us a second map. These two maps look identical at the moment. As I add the slope layer, the map update on the fly and we can see the change applied. On the left is the overall suitability model and on the right is the slope layer that we just select. For our coffee plantation, we are going to favor flat and low slope area by using function in the transformation window. We can change the slope suitability to be linear and invert it to get the score we want. An important layer that we need to add to our model is precipitation. For our coffee plantation, we are going to aim around for our coffee plantation, we are going to aim around 1,200 millimeter of precipitation per year. We can achieve this by using the Gaussian function. The Gaussian function score the mid-range, the highest, and minimize very well. From this table on the top right, we can explore how these input layers are combined together using a weighted overlay. These layers are all equally weighted at the moment, but at any point in the time, we can easily change the weight. Precipitation is critical for our coffee plantation. Let's switch the weight to 3 so that area with low suitability score and the precipitation layer affect the overall suitability more. So we can continue to add and analyze more data layers such as air temperature, dominant soil type, and pH level to create our final suitability model that look like this. Our final step use the locate function to find the best suitable 640 acres of land divided into 2 regions. For coffee plantation, these are the best 640 acres of land across the entire island of Mai that is owned by a range and company. As you can see, the suitability model is powerful and dynamic. Which is your true end-to-end experience from analyzing data to finding your optimal location and is a great way to learn and understand way to overlay all in one tools. It will completely change and simplify the way we do suitability model from now on. That's all for the interactive suitability analysis. Next, I will talk about the link analysis. The link analysis is a new interactive capability in ArcGIS Pro, which is a common application for you to do analysis for criminal investigation, intelligence, defense, market research, or contract tracing in support of epidemiological response. So next, I will show you a demo. In this demo, I would like to share with you an important analytical capability called community contact tracing which can help public health and other organizations fight the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Community contact tracing enhances traditional contact tracing approach with the ability to better understand how and where the disease is spreading throughout every community by adding in location. In addition to individual contact tracing, it is now important to know where and when people are out of the community, their location at work, at grocery store, at a beach, and so on. Let's take a look at how this all works. We have a friction data set of 3 COVID-19 patients and their individual contact recorded on a typical contact tracing spreadsheet. Using ArcGIS Pro, we can quickly geocode this address and plot it on the map. On top of the saved rough point of interest, data shown in the red dot indicate a confirmed positive case, and the number in the middle represent the degree of separation from the initial case first record, second, or third. The gray dot are trace contacts that have no tested positive at this time. To quickly check if there are any spatial pattern, we can create a heat map. It's just to confirm case and discover this hotspot within 13 case. Okay, let's continue our analysis by next creating a link chart, which is new in ArcGIS Pro 2.6. We will change the layout to better understand the hierarchy of the case. The link chart helps us understand how the contacts are related from the very first 3 confirmed cases to their contact. For example, we look contact Colin who contact Madeline and so on. And again, the red dot helps us understand who has tested positive as we use the link chart to visually see and trace all the other contacts. Going back to the link chart over here on the right, we see an anomaly like Michelle, which is positive case without any positive link in between. Let's dig deeper by filtering this data and investigating just the case like this. From here, we want to go beyond just the person-to-person contact and investigate person to place by bringing in all the places that these people have visited in the community, creating another link chart. With this data, we can discover that all 5 of these cases visited a common business located right here. This suggests that this individual may have been exposed to community transmission from an unknown source out in the community. This is just a quick example that extends the existing contact tracing solution with community location to have a more holistic community contact tracing approach. This simple change of adding location make this all possible for you. Next, 3D mesh manipulation allow you to clip, replace, and mask modification on integrated scene layer. Use clip to remove a portion of the mesh, for example, expose underground utility line at a construction site. Use mask to remove all part of the mesh outside of the polygon modification. For example, only show one neighborhood in a city. Use a replace modification to flatten part of the mesh in order to show a proposed building to stakeholders. Integrated mesh modification provide a quick way to modify your mesh and share it out to a wider audience, to ArcGIS Online with support coming in the next release, and for ArcGIS and to ArcGIS Enterprise as well. The trace network is designed to be a path forward for geometric network users who are not utility or a telecom organization. The new network type uses a simple approach to network modeling with the benefit of the updated environment and implementation found in ArcGIS Pro. The target audience for the trace network are hydrology, view, and other disciplines. Next, you can now add graphic layer to map and map frame in layout to expand the flexibility and usability of map. Graphic layers are composed of graphic elements such as point, line, text, and picture. You can manually create graphic element, modify existing graphic element, or convert feature label into a graphic layer to adjust the replacement of text. So next, I will demo you how to create the graphic layer. So in this demo, I would like to show you just some of the new map graphic in ArcGIS Pro 2.6. Creating ad hoc map with custom graphic and text have never been so easy to get started now. So let's look into the Galapagos Island. The Galapagos Islands are the only place where penguins live north of the equator. So let's use new map graphic to start. I can insert custom graphic and text without having to build a new feature layer. Clicking here, add a new layer on my map and activate the appearance and graphic tab, giving me access to these two and that I need now. So let's highlight the Isabella Island. I will select my target layer and click the freehand line to sketch along the coastal line, and can also style and change the symbol of my line. Okay, so now I would like to add text to show the Galapagos Islands. Okay, so now what makes the Galapagos Island ecosystem really unique are these converging ocean currents. Lastly, the map wouldn't be complete without one more element, which is the famous Galapagos penguin. So let me add it in. So these are just a few examples of how the new map graphic and ArcGIS Pro 2.6 help you quickly enhance and style your map. So last, I would like to share is the ArcGIS Pro 2.6 now will include a project recovery option that allow you to configure recovery settings so that in the event of an unexpected failure, loss of work will be minimized or eliminated. So that's all for the highlight. So here are some other new capability tools, parameter and enhancement in ArcGIS Pro 2.6. This is the continue. So that's all from me. I will pass back to Amir to see if any question from the floor. Go back to you, Amir.
Thank you, Ki Yang. So that was an interesting presentation on the desktop and what's new. So we've had a couple of questions that has come through, and if you've been listening intently to Ki Yang and you haven't had the chance to type out your question, there's still time to do that through the question pane. So just to kick off with the questions, we have one from the audience here, which asks you, does ArcGIS Pro use the same license as ArcMap? Over to you, Ki Yang.
Thanks a lot for the question. The answer is no. You must have authorized both ArcGIS Pro license and ArcMap license in order to use both ArcGIS Pro and ArcMap. If you are using concurrent use licensing for ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro, you can manage both license types with the same license manager. So that's for the answer. Over back to you, Amit.
Okay, so let's move on. So the next question is, hi, if we purchase ArcGIS Desktop, will we be getting ArcGIS Pro? Sorry, we will get ArcGIS Pro. So what about the older version of ArcMap, ArcCatalog? Do we still get it? Over to you, Ki Yang.
Okay, thanks for the question. If you purchase ArcGIS Desktop, there will be five applications come along, which is ArcMap, ArcGroup, ArcCatalog, ArcSyn, and ArcGIS Pro. So when you purchase the ArcGIS Desktop, these five applications will come along. So that's all from me. All back to you, Ami.
Okay, so let's take a look at the next question that we have over here. How can I find out which ArcGIS Pro licenses that has been assigned to me?
Okay, so thanks a lot for the question. From an open project, click the project tab on the ribbon, or from the ArcGIS Pro start page, click the setting in the lower left corner. In the list of the on the left, click licensing. Licensing page show you license type, license level, and extension of your ArcGIS Pro. Yeah. That's all from me. Over back to you, Ami.
All right, so let's move on to the next question. So I think this one is for Nazwin. Maybe you can answer this one. So due to the COVID-19 pandemic that we have now, how does Esri Malaysia support during the for the outreach program? Awin, can you comment on that? Any other plans?
Actually, we are still go to our customer. We still go to our customer place, but we depends on customer as well lah. If whether customer allowed us if any visitor come to the office or not.
Okay, so thank you for
Yeah.
that. So I guess maybe it's going to be depending on the scenario that we have right now. So I mean, it's going to be depending on if the customers are allowing us to go there or not, and it also depends on we are in the state of MCO and how is it going. So actually, we can actually discuss this further. So the next question that I have here from the audience is, can I use personal geodatabase as a data source for ArcGIS Pro? For Kit Yang, I think this one.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Amir, and thanks for the question. The answer is no. Personal geodatabase are not supported in ArcGIS Pro. So you cannot use personal geodatabase dataset as input for geoprocessing tools or create those datasets as output. But file geodatabase are fully supported and are default workspace for ArcGIS Pro project. That's all for the question and answer. Over back to you, Ami.
Okay, so let's go to the next question over here. So this is about the license again, but this one maybe is for Kit Yang. So how far is the latest license manager compatible with virtualization platform? So the last time I installed 2019.0 in Microsoft Hyper-V virtual machine, it works for some time, and then suddenly all my licenses are actually broken for no reason. Can I expect that the latest version of the license manager would work stably in a VM when it is installed? Is the question clear, Kieng?
Yeah, but then I can't because like this question will need to research on the not just about the license manager version. I also need to know those like ArcGIS desktop version that you are currently using, and as well as your virtual machine technical spec. So I will for this question I will be can we like talk offline? Yeah, after I will do a research and I will get back to you. Yeah. So that's all from me. Over back to you, Ami.
Yeah, so just to add on that, thank you for the question. So we can definitely get back to you with more details. So I believe for this question, there's a bit of a understanding behind the issue that we need to investigate. So as by default, yeah, we are supposed to not have any issue that it can be run on a virtual machine. But as you mentioned just now, there are sometimes where licenses becomes broken and for all. So a little investigation must be done, I think, to understand what is the culprit to that. So rest assured, we can actually talk further on this later on after the webinar, I guess. Okay, so moving on to the next question. So let's see from the list over here. In terms of 3D, Is the 3D Analyst extension required for ArcGIS Pro to work with the 3D maps and layouts? Over to you, okay?
Yeah, so as my slide just now, the answer is no. If you don't have this extension, you can still navigate, alter, edit, and share 3D map. So which are core seen in ArcGIS Pro. The ArcGIS 3D Analyst extension is only required for performing 3D analysis. So that is how you work 3D in ArcGIS Pro. If you want to run job processing tools in the 3D Analyst toolbox, then you need the 3D Analyst extension. So that's for the answer. And thanks a lot for the question. And over back to you, Ami.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question I have in here. Do I need to renew my license to entitle for a new version? So perhaps Awin or Kian wants to answer this. Do I need to renew my license to entitle for a new version?
Sorry, I mean, what's the question again?
The question goes is that, do I need to renew my license to entitle for a new version?
Yes, you need to renew your license in order for you to entitle for the software updates and everything.
Okay, so I guess we need to renew that, or else you have access, but only to the current version that you have. Okay, so let's move on to the next question over here. Okay, in ArcGIS Pro, instead of importing image in graphics, can we show image attachment from GDB? Over to you, Kian.
Thanks a lot for that question. I think this one I will be also need to do a research on that, and I will get back to you. Yeah, that's all. Over back to you, Ami.
Okay, thank you. So we'll get back on this inquiry over here. So let's go to the next question. What is the difference when you park the license of ArcGIS Pro on ArcGIS Online other than coming it from Enterprise Portal? Is there a difference over there?
Sorry, Ami, can you repeat?
What is the difference when you park the license for ArcGIS Pro from ArcGIS Online compared to parking the license on ArcGIS Enterprise Portal? So I guess maybe the question is the difference when the license is coming from ArcGIS Online, between ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise Portal. What's the difference over there? Is there any specific difference, benefits?
Thanks a lot for that question. The answer is actually the difference is because ArcGIS Online, ArcGIS Enterprise is our Esri job portal service. So you need to have your ArcGIS Enterprise being installed. Then only you can manage your ArcGIS Pro license in ArcGIS Enterprise. Whereas if you purchase ArcGIS Online, then you can just manage your ArcGIS Pro license at ArcGIS Online. So that was the difference between managed license in ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise. So if you do purchase ArcGIS Enterprise and you did install ArcGIS Enterprise and the portal is up, then you can manage your license in ArcGIS Enterprise. Just that different, just that. That's all from me. Over back to you.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ki Yang. So let's take a look at the next question. All right, so here's one. As I've seen you exhibit the heat map for COVID data just now, what are the differences between the hotspot map and heat map? Over to you, Ki Yang.
Thanks for that question. That's actually is a very good question. Actually, the hotspot map and the heat map are both are almost the same. So in the heat map, I can actually see where is the concentration cases are all about. whereas for the hotspot is also, or hotspot map is almost the same as well. Just might be in the parameter there just some difference calculation in the at the calculation. And the heat map is a symbology that I want to quickly view how's the where is the concentration all about. Yeah, so that's the two difference between the hotspot and heat map. And hotspot use a they will use a different calculation to calculate out and show you where is the hotspot they are. So that's all for from me. Over back to you, Ami.
Okay, thank you for that. I hope it's clear. So it's basically differences within the algorithm behind it, I guess. All right, so let's move on to the next question over here. Okay, Kit Yang, this one is for you. Does any of the new features you've highlighted just now require additional add-on licenses for ArcGIS Pro? So I repeat the question. Any of the features that you've highlighted in the presentation just now, does it require any additional licenses for ArcGIS Pro? Over to you, Kit Yang.
Okay. For those highlight in the section, the basic the minimum license that you need might will be a standard or advanced license for ArcGIS Pro. For extension, I will be confirm again and get back to you. Thanks a lot for that question. Go back to you, Ami.
Okay, so we have another one here. What is the input file for ArcGIS Pro if it is not from file database or personal database? So I guess the question is, other than file geodatabase or personal geodatabase, what other data input can be used with ArcGIS Pro other than file and personal geodatabase? Over to you, Kit Yang.
Other than file and personal, and sorry, I mean, I just want to confirm that question. Are they asking other than file and personal? Is there any other database in ArcGIS Pro?
Now, what is the input file for ArcGIS Pro if it is not from file and personal geodatabase? So meaning, what are other options that we have?
The other option. Okay, thanks a lot for the question, and thanks for Amir for the question clarification. Besides just file and personal, actually the other optional for geodatabase will be enterprise geodatabase. ArcGIS Enterprise, ArcGIS Pro will are able to support the file and the enterprise geodatabase. For enterprise geodatabase, you will need to have the RDBMS being installed and at your organization. Those are database type that support in our Esri is like example like MySQL Server, the PostgreSQL, Oracle, IBM. For more that you want to know, and because like different version will support different type of RDBMS version as well. So for more information, you can actually go to our Esri website, which talk about the RDBMS database that support with the version in the help document. Yeah, thanks a lot for the question. And over back to you, Ami.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Kit Yang. So just to add on that, yeah, other than file and personal geodatabase, so we have the option to go even bigger, which is the enterprise RDBMS. So as mentioned, as Kit Yang, some of the standards, which is the SQL Server and stuff, this is usually the best option where you want to park most of your data and have multi-user editing and access to a number of people at once, whereby file geodatabase or personal would be more sufficient or relevant for small cases. I guess that maybe answer your questions, that we actually have an enterprise database functionality over there. So let's move on to the next question. Is there any maximum limit of size for 3D data that can be open in ArcGIS Pro, Kiye? Is there any maximum limit of size on the 3D data?
Thanks a lot for that question, Ami. Basically supposed to be in one project supposed to be a no limited size of that, but I will be get back to you to provide you
Yeah.
more resources about the size and the project site I mean the project size that is actually works for the performance well, how big is the size that for a project to have in our
Yep.
ArcGIS Pro for 3D data. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so basically based on our experience, we haven't actually seen a solid saying of a limited size, but it varies into the size of the project. But it's safe to assume that the bigger it is, it might increase slowness within the system, I guess. So would you agree on that one, Ki Yeng?
Sorry, Amit, can you please?
Yeah, I mentioned to the user that I mean the bigger it is, I think it should be able to open, but it would just make it a bit slower, I guess. The more
Yeah,
complex.
and actually, yeah, like Amit said, it actually depends on how complex is your data are, because like some 3D data, their texture and their object size is very big, which will be also depends on your computer spec.
Yeah.
And which will still will scale down all your performance due to your texture size is your texture for your 3D data is very complex. So it all depends on how's the data and how big is your project size and
Yes.
how is your spec to run well with your performance.
Yep. So there's a lot of dependency over there, I guess, to actually open that. So there's no solid maximum size limit over there. Okay, so let's move on to the next question over here. Okay, we have a question that goes, can ArcGIS Pro do simulation for flood simulation? For example, to predict the flow of rainwater based on the contour of the ground in Brunei, for example. Can ArcGIS Pro do that?
Yeah, thanks a lot for that question. Yeah, in ArcGIS Pro, actually, you can also do flood modeling. Yeah, there's but you might require a few extensions for you to do that. So, which I will provide you more resources and the extension that needed for you to do a flood modeling. And actually, there's in our 3D news, there's actually a dashboard showing the 3D scene with a dashboard to showing the flood modeling and how the impact to the surrounding. So we might share with you those links and the resources. Yeah, thanks a lot for that question. Over back to you, Ami.
Okay, thank you for that. So short answer, you can do it. Long answer, it may require a lengthy workflow over there and some extensions, but rest assured that it can be done. Okay, so let's move on to the next question over here. I have one ArcGIS standard license. Can I use it to run ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro probably at the same time? Over to you, Ki Yeng.
Sorry, Ami, can the last part I a bit unclear.
So I have one ArcGIS standard license. Can I use it to run ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro concurrently, meaning at the same time?
I assume, thanks a lot for the question. I assume the ArcGIS standard license is meant by ArcGIS Desktop standard license. So you have ArcGIS Desktop standard license. So you will be actually in my previous workshop, if you purchase the ArcGIS Desktop license, you actually entitled and a name user from for ArcGIS Online. So that name user you can actually use to for license your ArcGIS Pro, to open your ArcGIS Pro project. And the ArcGIS Desktop license can use for ArcMap license. So you can open both at the same time. And I hope that answer your question. Thanks. Over back to you, Ami.
Okay. Okay, so the next question here, will models built in the ArcMap work in ArcGIS Pro?
Sorry, Ami, come again.
So the question is, will models built in ArcMap be able to work in ArcGIS Pro?
Oh, the answer is yes. Thanks a lot for the question. The answer is yes, but most of the time, however, because if the model include a tool that's just before I continue, just would like to let you know, some of the job processing tool and extension, like mostly like 80 to 70 to 80% of the job processing tools and extension are available in ArcGIS Pro. So depends on the model that and the tools that you use. So if that tool is available in ArcGIS Pro, so yes, the model can be input into your ArcGIS Pro. But for those like tools that is not available yet, you might need to see and work in ArcMap. Yeah. For that. And one common issue is that the calculation field tool is no longer support Visual Basic, which is that one is last time is available in ArcMap. So if you want to know more about the model builder workflow that is support in ArcGIS Pro, you may check in the help file there. Yeah, the help file document will be specific more about that. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Over back to you, Ami.
All right. Okay, thank you, Kieng. So the next question is, can we work offline for ArcGIS Pro if the server or internet is down? So I repeat the question, can we work offline for ArcGIS Pro if the server or let's say the internet is down in the particular machine?
Okay, thanks a lot for that question. The answer is yes. But before you can work offline for your, before you can take your ArcGIS Pro offline, you have to go to the, if you are a name user, you have to go to the ArcGIS Pro. When you log into your ArcGIS Pro application, you have to make sure you check the take offline option before you really go offline. So that is how you can take your ArcGIS Pro offline. And if you are going to use the concurrent use licensing, you need to go to borrow your license before you go offline. Yeah, that's all from me. Over back to you, Ami.
Yeah, so basically you would have to take your license offline beforehand in order to work on a non-connection environment. But let's say suddenly if you're working on that and suddenly you got disconnected, then I believe there's going to be a notification telling you that you have a couple of, I think 60 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, right? Before everything is turned off. So yeah, you have that prompt to you, but it would be best to take your licenses offline just to ensure that this problem will not happen. Okay, so I think that's all the time we have today. If we have not answered some of the questions in the list, which I believe there are still some more over here, so we will surely reach out to you with the response. So moving on next on the slide.
Okay,
Ian, you want to turn over the slide to the next one?
Yeah, already. So you want to talk about the next webinar?
Yeah. So moving on next. So just a little bit about what's coming up next on our webinar series. And on October 28th. Yep, that is the one. So on the October 28th, we shall take a look at part 2 of the Geo-Precision Agriculture webinar. So this would be a continuation of the first part that we did last month. So this is actually part 2. And altogether, it's going to be a 3-part webinar series. So if you're interested in that, join us and do, which is esrimalaysia.com.my/webinars for any upcoming events and webinars. So moving on, we really love your feedback. So take the time to fill out the brief survey that you will see pop up at the end of the session. Further feedback or questions can be sent directly to events@esrimalaysia.com.my. And finally, if you would like to rewatch this webinar or share with your colleagues, the recording will be shortly available on the Esri Malaysia events page. So once again, I want to thank you, Kit Yang, Nazreen as well. And thanks everyone for joining us. And we will see you for the next Directions Live online webinar series. Goodbye.